Hello, my name is Frank, and for about 20 years I've been trying to figure out which foods would be highly beneficial for me, and I've been trying to avoid foods which I believe would be highly detrimental for me. What I plan to do with this series is to use my videos to help introduce people to the foods that I find are very beneficial for me. I figure if the foods are very beneficial for me, there's a good chance that the foods will be very beneficial for you too. So if you're looking for ideas on foods that are worthwhile, maybe my videos will help you figure out which foods might be good for you. I know that there's limitless food choices out there, and many of the foods that are out there are detrimental for people. What I try to do in these videos is present foods which I feel are extremely beneficial. Thanks for watching. Let's make some food. I woke up this morning with that Rocky theme song in my head, and the words of "Let's make some breakfast." Like I sang, I don't remember how it went now. Something like, "Time to get up and make some breakfast. Time to get up and make some breakfast. Dun 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 dun. Make breakfast." Let's get up and make some breakfast. Let's get up and make some breakfast. Don't you know it's breakfast time? Okay, so in addition to the grapefruit that I just ate, I've got cooking in my oven a frozen pizza. I'm cooking the pizza at 335 degrees Fahrenheit. The box on the pizza says to cook it at a much hotter temperature of 425 degrees Fahrenheit. I no longer do that. I cook pretty much everything at 335 degrees Fahrenheit. The reason being, at 350 degrees Fahrenheit, you get a much greater formation of, or I should say I've read by what I consider to be a reliable source. I've read that at temperatures of 350 degrees Fahrenheit, you get the formation of many more, what are they called? Advanced glycation end products, which seem to be very bad for internal health. So instead of following directions that say to cook at temperatures 350 degrees or hotter, I'm cooking at 335 degrees Fahrenheit instead. As you can see on the oven, which just reached 335 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm going to turn off the camera while I clean up my work area, because once the pizza is done, I'm going to need a clean work area, and I don't have that right now, so I'll be back. Okay, got a much cleaner workspace now, right over here on that turntable. Got a nice clean pot for my egg. Pizza's still cooking in the oven. Got some water coming up to temperature for some tea. Got a decent workspace here for some coffee. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the camera. Okay, the tea is just starting to, the water for the tea just started to boil, so I'll turn down the flame, get the tea in there. some tea, 1 Earl Grey, 1 chai, get both sides of the tea bag wet, covered it up so it can steep some more. Let's come over and do some coffee. Okay, out comes the old filter with the old coffee. Discard that. Get some new filter in place. New filter in place. Fill it with water. Okay. Add water. Oops. Okay, start out with some decaf. We got the decaf, Trader Joe's Fair Trade Organic French Roast Decaf. The can by itself weighs just under 2 ounces. The can with decaf entered going to weigh just under 3 ounces. Okay. So it's mostly going to be decaf with just a little bit of Fair Trade Organic French Roast. Doesn't say anything about decaf. Little pinch of decaf, or of non-decaf regular coffee. That should take us to a little bit, right about 3 ounces or a little bit more. But that's not 3 ounces of coffee, because remember, the can weighed just under 2 ounces. So it's actually, in total, roughly 1 ounce. Primarily decaf, and a very little bit of regular coffee. Okay, into the coffee grinder we go. Clean up some of the remnant coffee. Done with the coffee grinder. Make a nice little inverted mountain. and start the coffee maker. Okay, so now I got the coffee making. The tea is still steeping. I've got my little frying pan for the egg. Let's check on the pizza. Oops. Pizza is nowhere near ready yet. Let's make that egg. Okay. So I'm going to use this burner because this burner is much smaller than this burner over here. So that one's smaller, that's the one I'm going to use. Going to add some olive oil. Coat the pan with the olive oil. And it looks like I do need to turn off my camera because I'm not going to have enough room. I got to turn off my camera because I need to make some room on my memory card if I'm going to finish this project. So if I'm going to videotape this breakfast. I'm going to turn off the camera now. I'll be back. Okay, I'm back and I got plenty more room on my card. So before I cook the egg, let's come back over here by the coffee maker. My coffee is going to end up in this mug, and my tea is going to end up in this mug, and I'll have them with me throughout the day. Each one is 30 ounces, so that's 60 ounces of beverage. These will hold the heat for a very long time. So instead of driving around with very hot coffee, I'm going to go ahead and turn off my... First, let's make sure we get rid of all the water that we can. Give it a few seconds for it to spit that water through the system if it needs to. Doesn't sound like it's going to do it, so I'll go ahead and turn off the coffee maker. That way the plate beneath the coffee maker isn't going to stay hot, so the coffee can start to cool down, so that when the coffee goes in my cup, it's not going to be as hot as possible. It'll be more like a temperature that my mouth can deal with. So I turned off the coffee maker, got a full pot of coffee down there. It'll start to cool off. I've got my pot of tea over here. That's cooling off right now as it steeps. I've got my little egg frying pan over here, but I'm just like I do with the pizza, not at a high temperature. I'll be cooking the egg at a low temperature. I'm going to set it off to the back side here. You can see that it's not centered on the burner. The burner is directly beneath this area. So that this area doesn't have burner beneath it. This is the area where the yolk is going to sit, so that the eggs will cook more thoroughly than the yolk, because I like my yolk to be somewhat runny, but I don't like for my whites to be runny. So in other words, I'm fond of a poached egg. Okay, let's go ahead and get this burner going. Bring it down to level 2 out of 10 or 11. So it's on level 2 of about 11 settings. So it's a very low setting. Let's go ahead and get the egg. Okay, I've got one egg here. I found that the easiest way to keep a clean kitchen when you're breaking an egg is to drop the egg right on the bottom of the sink. Now I got a nice crack. Any mess is left in the sink, so cleanup is super easy. Let's go ahead and get that egg into the pan. Now I'm going to wash my hands. I'm going to wash my hands with soap. I'm going to wash them very good because I just had raw egg on my hands. So I'm applying the bar soap to my hands. Turn off the water while I wash my hands. You can see here as the egg is cooking, I've got soap all over my hands so that I can get rid of the raw egg that was on my hands. I don't want to be spreading raw egg around my kitchen. Still washing my hands. Getting my fingertips and under my fingernails. Getting soap in there. I'll go ahead and rinse off the soap. Okay, and I can dry my hands. Use my towel to dry my hands. The egg is still cooking. You can see that the yolk is way off to this side where the burner flame is really in this area away from the yolk. Okay, while that egg is cooking, I'm going to take a shallot. Where's my shallot? There's my shallot. Got a shallot here. Gonna cut off the end. Okay, both ends are cut off. Let's peel away the skin. There we go. Now we got a good shallot. Let's clean off this peel so that I'm working with a good clean surface. I'm going to move the camera so it's less in my way. And let's cut up this shallot. So, I'm going to say, let's cut it in half like that. Then, so I'm slicing it down like this, trying to make real small bits because I'm going to put raw shallot on top of my pizza. Okay, so half of it's been kind of like diced. Okay, so now I've got some, they're fairly sizable chunks of shallot, but that's going to go on top of my pizza. Actually, it's going to go on top of the egg, which goes on top of the pizza. Okay, let's check on that pizza. The egg is still kind of cooking. Whoops. Let's check on that pizza. Oh, the pizza's ready to come out. Okay. food thermometer to get a reading of the temperature of the pizza. Oh, come on, battery. You really going to die on me now? Okay. We're at 80 degrees. Let's come over to the pizza. Poke it in there. 158, 169, 175. That pizza is definitely, it has definitely hit the 165 degrees that I would want to hold it at for 5 minutes. In fact, it's at 190 degrees. So, second reading, also 190 degrees. That pizza is very thoroughly cooked. It's more cooked than it needs to be. Okay. We'll let that cool off. We'll come over here by the egg. I'm going to start mixing the egg whites. Okay. Get those egg whites thoroughly cooked while trying to keep the yolk from thoroughly cooking. I'm trying to pull as much of the white away from the yolk as I can and get the white into the heated area. Okay, let's see if we can flip that yolk. The majority of the white is thoroughly cooked. Let's see if I can flip that yolk over without breaking it. No, it doesn't look like it. And I think I might have just broke it. There we go. Now I got some more whites because I flipped it over. Oh, and I broke the yolk. Let's get the whites over to the hot area. Keep the yolk away from the hot area. Get those whites thoroughly cooked. And now let's mix in the yellow yolk with the whites. And I think that the whites will have retained enough heat that the whole mixture will be at 165 degrees. Let's take a temperature reading. The whole mixture is at 164.63. Let's mix that up a little bit more. The whole mixture is at 162. With the egg, I'm okay if it's only at 160. It says 163. I'm going to call it okay. I'm going to turn off my burner. And let's come over here to the pizza. Use my pizza cutter. To cut that pizza. Okay, that's one cut up pizza, 8 slices. let's get the egg on there. Ouch. Just turned off the oven. I forgot that I had it on. Okay. Spoon the egg onto the pizza slices. Okay, let's add the onions, or not the onions, but the shallots. When I started doing this, I started doing it with onions, but I found that the onions, even the smallest ones I could find, were about a quarter pound, and that quarter pound was way too, that's 4 ounces of onions on one pizza, was way too much onions on the pizza, especially in the raw format. So I've shifted over to shallots, which are more typically about 1 ounce. So it's about a quarter of the size, so it's much less overwhelming to cover a pizza in one shallot than it is to cover a pizza in a very small onion. Okay, Parmesan cheese. Let's grate some Parmesan cheese. Big old chunk of Parmesan cheese. When you buy your Parmesan cheese, now I think, now there might be a chef out there who says I'm 180 degrees wrong on this, but I try to get Parmesan cheese that has rind on only one side. I don't want rind on 2 sides, because to me this is the area that's the best, the area that doesn't have the rind, and the rind area to me is not the best. But there might be chefs out there who say, Frank, you're completely wrong in that. But for me, when I pick up my Parmesan at Trader Joe's, I try to find the Parmesan that has only one side with rind, and everything else has no rind. Go ahead and grate some Parmesan onto the pizza. Okay, hang up my cheese grater again. Cheese grater is hung back up again. We got the Parmesan. Let's add some olive oil. So I'll put the cheese back in the refrigerator. Cover it up with the tin foil. Back in the fridge it goes. Okay, drizzle a little bit of olive oil, start from the center, work my way outwards. And that is it. That'll be my breakfast. Okay, so let's see. Little cup. Get some tea in there. Pour some hot tea into the cup. That's it. I am going to eat my breakfast and then get ready for work. So I woke up this morning with that Rocky theme song in my head, and the words of "Let's make some breakfast." Like I sang, I don't remember how it went now. Something like, "Time to get up and make some breakfast. Time to get up and make some breakfast. Dun 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 dun. Make breakfast." Anyhow, that's it.